It's a random Thursday night. You're scrolling through YouTube and you see two completely different videos side by side. One says, "Real estate is the only proven way to build generational wealth." The other says, "Warren Buffett says stocks beat real estate every single time." And you're sitting there thinking, okay, which one is actually true? Because both sides have passionate fans. Real estate people show off rental properties and call stocks fake money on a screen. Stock investors show off compound interest charts and call real estate a money pit with a roof. And meanwhile, you just want to know one thing. If you had to pick one path to build wealth faster, which one would actually win? So in this video, we're going to settle this with real numbers, not opinions, not Instagram flexing, just math. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about how people actually build wealth. If you've ever wondered whether you should be saving for a rental property or just dumping money into index funds, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, because by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to hear. Most people don't choose between stocks and real estate based on math. They choose based on what feels real. A house feels real. You can touch it, live in it, show it off. A stock feels invisible. It's just a number that goes up and down on an app. But feelings aren't returns. So let's actually look at how each one performs. Start with stocks. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned around 10% annually before inflation over the last century. That includes crashes, recessions, and recoveries. It's not a straight lineup, but over decades, it's been remarkably consistent. Here's the part people forget. Stocks are also incredibly liquid. You can buy $50 of an index fund today and sell it tomorrow if you need the cash. There's no tenant, no mortgage, no 3 a.m. phone call about a broken water heater. Now let's look at real estate. Real estate has historically appreciated around 3 to 5% annually in most markets, according to long-term housing data. On its own, that sounds weaker than stocks. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people don't buy real estate in cash. They use leverage. Let's say you buy a $300,000 property with a 20% down payment. That's $60,000. If the property appreciates just 5% in a year, that's a $15,000 gain. But because you only put down $60,000, your actual return on your own money is 25%, not 5%. That's the power of leverage. And it's the main reason real estate investors often out-earn stock investors on paper. But here's what most people don't realize. Leverage cuts both ways. If that same property drops 5% in value, you don't just lose 5%. You lose 25% of your initial investment because the loss is calculated against your equity, not the full property value. Stocks can be leveraged too through margin, but most beginners don't do that, which means stock investors typically take on far less risk per dollar invested. So now we have two very different wealth machines. Stocks, steady, liquid, lower effort. Real estate, leveraged, higher potential, but higher responsibility. So which one actually builds wealth faster? Here's the part almost nobody talks about. It depends less on the asset and more on what you do with the income it produces. Let's run a real example. Imagine someone invests $500 per month into an S&P 500 index fund for 10 years at an average 8% annual return. That grows to roughly $90,000. Now, imagine someone instead saves up a $20,000 down payment on a rental property worth $200,000. If that property appreciates 4% annually and also produces $300 a month in net rental income after expenses, after 10 years, the property could be worth around $296,000, and they've collected roughly $36,000 in rental cash flow along the way. On paper, that looks like a clear win for real estate. But here's the catch nobody puts in the headline. That rental property comes with property taxes, maintenance, vacancies, insurance, and tenants who don't always pay on time. It also requires far more upfront capital, $20,000, versus being able to start stock investing with $50. And if an emergency hits, you can sell stock shares in seconds. You cannot sell one bedroom of a house. This is where the analogy really matters. Investing in stocks is like planting a forest. You spread seeds, you walk away, and the forest grows mostly on its own. Real estate is like running a small farm. It can produce more food per acre, but you have to show up, manage it, and fix things when they break. Both can make you wealthy. One requires far more hands-on involvement. Now here's the part that changes the entire conversation. Most of the wealthiest real estate investors don't actually build wealth from appreciation alone. They build it by reinvesting profits into more property, scaling like a business. And most of the wealthiest stock investors don't get rich from one lump sum. They get rich from decades of consistent contributions and reinvested dividends. In both cases, the real driver isn't the asset. It's consistency and reinvestment over time. Let's talk about something rarely mentioned: taxes and fees. Stock index funds often charge fees as low as 0.05% annually, and long-term capital gains are typically taxed at lower rates than ordinary income. Real estate comes with closing costs, agent commissions often around 5 to 6%, property taxes, and maintenance costs that can eat 1 to 2% of the property's value every single year. Those numbers seem small individually, but compounded over a decade, they meaningfully change your actual return. So, which one wins? Here's the honest answer most influencers won't give you. If you want simplicity, liquidity, and lower stress, stocks generally build wealth faster relative to the effort required. If you're willing to actively manage a property, handle tenants, and use leverage responsibly, real estate can outperform stocks in raw dollar growth, but it demands far more time, money, and risk tolerance up front. Here's a story that puts this in perspective. I know two people who started with similar incomes. One began investing $400 a month into index funds right out of college. The other spent 4 years saving for a down payment before buying their first rental. 10 years later, the index investor had built a steady 6-figure portfolio with almost zero hands-on effort. The real estate investor had 2 properties, more total net worth, but also late-night repair calls, a tenant who stopped paying for 3 months, and far less flexibility if they ever wanted to move or change careers. Neither path was wrong. They just required very different lifestyles. So if you're trying to decide where to put your next dollar, ask yourself 3 questions. First, do you want a hands-off or hands-on relationship with your investment? Second, do you have enough capital to absorb a real estate down payment without going into debt? And third, how much do you value liquidity, the ability to access your money quickly if life happens? If you're just starting out with limited capital, stocks are almost always the smarter first step. They let you build the habit of investing, develop financial discipline, and grow your money with minimal effort. Once you have a strong financial foundation, real estate can become a powerful addition, not a replacement, but an expansion of your wealth-building strategy. Because here's the real truth. This was never actually a competition. The people who build the most wealth over time often use both: stocks for steady, low-effort growth, and real estate for leveraged, active growth. The asset isn't what makes someone wealthy. The behavior behind it is. So if this video helped you think about this differently, hit subscribe. And I want to know, are you more drawn to the slow and steady world of stocks, or the hands-on, higher-effort world of real estate? Let me know in the comments, because the path you choose starts with understanding which one actually fits your life.